Okay, item F, discussion of solid waste and recycling services. And Adam is going to discuss this.
One of the things I'd like to point out is Bob's here tonight. He'd like to also chime in a couple of comments on this at different times. I presented him with a portion of what I presented to you in your packets, which one of the things I was asked by the Finance Committee to draw up for today was an RFP, a request for proposal. In next year's budget, one of the things that's being presented is the possibility of outsourcing our trash and recycling services. Due to the fact that, of course, this doesn't work on a fiscal year process, that we would be forced to actually start moving on this prior to a fiscal year process. We're starting to look at this now as a prospective opportunity. Just to give you a little bit of the details, I believe several of you have seen this either through the Finance Committee or through the trash, as the representative for trash. What's being presented is the idea of outsourcing this, putting this out for bid, which is the purpose of the request for proposal. Part of my question tonight is basically, I hope you've had an opportunity to look at it and maybe ask any questions to me that you might have and make any comments about how I might change that to make it meet with what your expectations are. The second half was just to explain in a little bit of detail that what the impacts of this would be so that you understand what we would be moving out for proposal on. The trash system would, that we are currently looking at doing, would be basically elimination of our commercial trash service. We would be doing residential recycling and residential solid waste pickup, but we would no longer be doing any commercial pickup. So there would be a situation where that would affect roughly 98 customers that are currently being provided service by the city. Now, if we did decide to move forward on that, those 98 customers, we have a plan in place to contact those 98 customers and notify them of what that process would be. We would start that process basically within the same time frame of putting this request out for a proposal. The other side of this is one of the other anticipations out of the Finance Committee is, as a result of this, one of the things that would be an impact as well is we would no longer be going out for the cemetery contract. So we would basically be taking that service back in-house. I know we've had some concerns in the past about the quality of the service, and that's one of the impacts that the Finance Committee was considering. I guess from there I laid out some paperwork before you. One is your request for proposal, which was in your packet. A second is something that several of you have already seen, which is a comparison of revenues to expenses on the current system compared to revenues and expenses on an estimated system based upon an outsourcing estimates that we've been roughly looking into to get an idea of what type of costing schematic that would be.
I think that's an important point, is that it's estimated until we have anything back in actual written agreement or bid with all of the explanation. There's a lot of different points to this, and until we actually have something in writing, we aren't really going to know exactly that that's what it all contains. So I think that's an important point to say that that's what we're really going after, isn't it, Adam? To have the right to get bids and see what is really out there.
And that's what's real important about this proposal, is making sure this proposal says what we want it to say. Because if this is something we're serious about doing, we need to have the proposal precise to exactly what we're asking them to quote on. Because the worst thing that could happen is us putting this out for proposal and that there be some rough spots along the process because the proposal wasn't all-encompassing, and that we have to go back and negotiate changes to an agreement after an agreement process has already begun.
Comments?
I have a comment. I noticed in the proposal that we did not ask for them, when they bring their trucks into town, that they should stop at the city building first so we can see if that truck is empty. We're running into some of that problem at the landfill,
Okay.
not with our own people, but from outside. They could stop at a couple, 3 farms and pick up stuff on the way in. Not that they would,
No?
but it's got to be in writing.
Right.
Another thing I thought we should probably have in there too is the...
What difference would that make?
Well,
Tipping.
if they don't,
No, they're
they
paying,
get them out of town.
they're paying the tipping fees.
No.
Yes, they do pay tipping fees. According to the proposal, we would be requesting that they pay the tipping fees, we would pay the assessment. Was it quarterly assessment?
The assessment is, unless it's based on, is the assessment based on tonnage or is it based on population? Should check that out. You know, that way, if it's based on tonnage, then I would have a concern. But if it's, they're paying tipping fees, so.
That's one thing we gotta make sure that that includes, because that's huge.
Oh, yeah, that's
The
right in there.
tipping fees.
Tipping fees are part of that, yeah. But I got a question on the time schedule. Is 10 days enough for them to make contact with you and get all the information and go back to do a proposal that's gonna be, might get stuck with 3 years?
Well, this is all in an attempt to have the service up and running by May 1st. If you want to delay it, I mean, that
Even a
is-
week, I think, would help. Help something. Because, you know, you could talk in 9 days, and I'm sure.
We
there's
may need to have a special council meeting to be able to
2
make
days of
that.
holidays in there.
We may need to make a special council meeting to make that occur and stay within what was the originally talked about time frame.
Now, I'm not a garbage hauler, maybe it's enough time, but I would think that's pretty.
It's up to you. This is purely up to you. If you want to look at making changes to that.
Bob, do you have any input?
Adam, I have procedure too, I thought we should probably have in there. In case, we should have something written to where they have to take a look at the garbage they're picking up. If they see stuff they should not be picking up, that it gets left. But these customers come in the city buildings, we need a procedure to let, as it is now, they've got to come back and pick up if we leave something behind. Is that right? If we miss something, what happens if they're supposed to leave it because it's got too much of the wrong stuff in it? See what I'm saying?
Okay.
I know for a fact in Denison, they go through the bag, and if there's plastics in it, they'll rip it open, throw it on the ground, and leave a mess, and only take the garbage.
Tell me that again,
I said, I know for a fact in Denison, when they pick up the garbage, the person will, if they suspect that there are recyclables in there, they'll tear open the bag and take those recyclables out and leave them, and just take the garbage.
Well, they gotta take recyclables, because they're doing recyclables as well.
But this is the stuff that's put into the garbage bag, into their garbage bags.
Well, then if they pull them out, then they've gotta put them in
They
there.
gotta pick it up
So
and
they gotta pick
separate
up-
it themselves.
Separate in their recyclables.
Well, I think you better, I mean, don't leave any ends open.
Oh, no.
So you'll have a
I've had.
lot of
I've
people call.
Always had private garbage people, and you've never had any trouble. You just call them and tell them. But whatever. I think I need Lee to read this, I didn't read it all.
Well, what's your thoughts, Bob?
Are you gonna, is this gonna be recycling and garbage all the same day or days, whichever they choose?
Well, that's one of the things about it being a proposal. We really don't know what we're going to get back as far as those expectations.
If they do them the same day, it's, well,
If they don't do
you know,
the same
that's
thing.
fine if they can do it the same day, because I'm sure the customers would probably like that. They're also accustomed to moving 1 day a week, strictly recycling. I seen in here that your time to start and stop the pickup, you got it at 6 in the morning, that's pretty early. I think 7 would, my opinion, 7 would be adequate.
I agree with Bob. One town we had that, and they had to quit going at 6 because some people were complaining.